Huh. Honorable mentions are this way. Okay. Let's see what sort of good hybrids that people cooked up. I don't know if mine will be in, though. Let's see. Disclaimer. Do not send any type of harassment or negativity towards the creators that I review. This includes hateful comments, mass paying the creators, dislike spamming, and toxic videos about them. This video is for entertainment purposes, and even then, what I say could be wrong, so please take my videos with a grain of salt. Enjoy! So, we got GojiCenter's honorable mentions. Anyways, this is going to be interesting. 2 months have passed since the beginning of the hybrid war. It's been quite a long time already, actually. After the public exhibition of the fallen hybrids featured in the Hall of Shame, the strongest await their turn. There were now, spoiler alert, there are now 88 creatures in the Hall, 88 hybrids in the Hall of Shame, including Primatus Rex. And one creature from the Hall of Shame was actually rescued. So, that's it, really. The following hybrids were amongst the best of the 1655 submissions, with the final 16 to be revealed at a later date. So, Great Hybrid Wolf Fan Edition with intense music. Now, because things are really getting serious. Back then, with the Hall of Shame, everything is just for laughs, with the overly ridiculous estimates and all that. But now we're getting to appropriately scaled creatures that just so happen to be good combatants as well. And functional too. Vipera Yuko, I think that's how you pronounce it. This is Deinonychus argentavis, bearded vulture, short-hair shrew. I think they were inspired from the Maddie, right? Good genome, inventive methods of attack. Too strong, could be killed easily. Yeah, from what I've heard of GojiCenter, the top 16 are the best builds in defeating the Indominus 2.0. Not necessarily the strongest. Burkatherium. Now, I want to see if a bunch of these creatures, they actually deserve to be on the list. Vipera Yuko is fine. For me, at least. Some more creative genomes. I want some creative genomes. Triceratops, crested porcupine, Diplodocus, Therosaurus, and honey badger. Very original design and congruent. This is fine. As you can see here, bit too front heavy and bulky to move quickly. Yeah, it seems like it. It's kind of it's stable though. Howl, very original design. As you can see here, Mecharaptor, Komodo dragon, armadillo lizard, pangolin, peregrine falcon, crow, vampire bat, stingray. I wonder what the peregrine falcon is for. With this build, Peregrine Falcon might not work too well. And Calagonosaurus. Actually avoiding cooking itself with electric eel DNA, which is quite impressive, actually. I think there were like 234 submissions that had electric eel DNA. More goth for too many spikes and mouse on this one. 26 tons is a bit too much. Bit on the heavy side for a theropod. Yeah, it's not gonna work very well. It's not gonna move very well, but this is quite creative. As you can see here. Why? No. Actually, no. This should not be in the honorable mentions. Because look at this Sequoia dendrum giganteum. It's a literal plant. It's using a plant. This hybrid is using a plant. Which they just literally got away with using a plant. This is This should actually be thrown in the Hall of Shame, really. Because it used a plant. Sequoia dendron giganteum, the giant sequoia. Perseverance is a pachycephalosaur over here. Inventive idea on how to fight. Yeah, as you can see, pachycephalosaurus with the centrosaurus horns stuck onto it, risks itself in an all or nothing attack. I mean, this is fine. This should be an honorable mention too. Wraith the 4X. It's literally just Minecraft. Wraith. Minecraft. Killer design and name creative genome. It's probably inspired from Minecraft. Yeah, it's definitely inspired from Minecraft. But Linus has too much of a handicap, even with other senses boosted. Yeah. Hazard. Creative genome. Wolverine. I've never seen Wolverine here. They definitely took notes from GojiCenter. Short-tailed shrew, dwarf crocodile, and vampire bat. Stanley, jaguar, porcupine, stonefish, blue, and Mozambique spitting cobra. Huh. Fantastic design and size. The spitting cobra might actually work. Too light for direct combat. Okay. This is completely fine. As you can see here. Yeah, 0.57 US tons is not enough to face the Indominus. But good design though. David, Phoenix Raptor. A truly foul if there ever was one. They use a cone snail. If I remember correctly, one of my friends also used a cone snail on a feline-based genome. Fragion could die easily from a direct hit. Even with 2 tons, this is not enough. One good hit from the Indominus 2.0, one good slap, and it's out of commission. Stegoceratops 2.0. Perfectly practical body and size. Triceratops, Nautiloceratops. They definitely took notes from GojiCenter over here. It's Borealopelta. It could be more creative, but it's practical. Does it deserve to be in honorable mentions though? Miskuta Gigas. Gong. Fantastic design and could work. Furcacot heat issues. A few unnecessary contributors. 8.8 tons is really pushing it though. Is there a reason to justify it? It's a Remotherium, right? And Giganotosaurus carolini. Suscruffa. Probably the only thing that that actually justifies this amount of fur and this amount of size being tolerable is probably a Remotherium. I wonder what really is the difference between Megatherium and Remotherium. Tyrannocrocus vindex. They definitely made it from Minecraft. Dinosuchus, Allosaurus, Komododran, Stegouros. I realize that Stegouros is quite common over here, because Stegouros is quite lightly armored, so it doesn't really compromise on the mobility, and also its tail is quite devastating. Thorny Devil, Cubious Dwarf, Boxfish, Cat. Using a random cat for some reason. Create user genetic contributors. This is quite, yeah. TJ. Okay. Teeth, like these Yarosaurus. What? Tartopelta and Nodosaurus. Okay. Nailamia, Palilux, Elasmotherium, Musk Oxen. I remember one super armored creature that used the Elasmotherium as the base. Supersaurus, Shunosaurus, Magnapolia, powerful and heavily armed. There were other similar designs, less extreme mass and more agility, as you can see. Here, 28 tons. 6 tons, 60 feet. 60 feet with 6 tons makes a little bit of a blimp, honestly. So, I don't think it should be in the honorable mentions because it's not really appropriately scaled. And given how the base of this genome is a Dinosuchus, Igor, Titan Archon, Clavicon, Theo MBX Weaver song. Udanoceratops. Okay, cool. This is also a quite creative base. As you can see here, alligator snapping turtle, blue hero. Huh? Amphitherium, sword pelta, mid power vertebra, saltosaurus, and axolotl. Sword pelta over here. Slow speed could get outflanked. Yes. Devastating bite. I'll leave it alone in the honorable mentions. Tower. Thuritherium Matera. This doesn't feel like a okay, there we go. But GojiCenter says it's a good fighter and possibly the closest you can get to a bioaccurate bunyip. Well, why not having to deal with overheating? Yep, that's a lot of mammal stuff. Mammals just not very good at dispersing heat, unlike reptiles. They definitely took notes, as you can see here. Arapaima, short-tailed shrew. This likely, it might not deserve to be in the honorable mention. Actually, it's fine, but it could have been much better. Spinotyrannus. We always appreciate simple but effective design. Huh. Okay. This is a hybrid that I didn't really see coming. But then again, the JP3 Spino is a good grappler, so there we go. 51.8 feet, 10 tons, 19 to 22 feet in height. Therizinosaurus is not the best pick here, yeah. Should have used like Sorfakinex. Low on the defensive side. Yeah, should have just put Arapaima as well. But then again, this is more taking notes, like taking notes from GojiCenter and making it less creative. So whatever. Albulbinator engines. Very good design and lethal weaponry. Estimonsuchus mirabilis as the base, which is quite creative. And Facilosuchus, the genome itself is also creative too. There's a dog. Hero Shrew. Okay, Antarctica Pelta. 7.5 tons. With this build, it's kind of making it a little bit of a blimp, but whatever. HarrisTsangYT. Great design for a monster and not too large. And Thylacoleo. Tiger, grizzly bear, scale-legged snail. Nodosaur, shrew, vampire, skull-legged snail. Nodosaur, shrew, vampire bat. They definitely... I mean, the shrew vampire bat combo is notorious, right? So that's why so many hybrids just use them. Great venom delivery wouldn't be very practical. Oh. As against the Indominus 2.0, it wouldn't be practical at all. 9 to 10.5 tons. Very bad news indeed. Very good Ursid/Sloth genome. But there are 2 Ursus maritimus. That's a little bit of a problem here. Should have just been 6 genomes. 6 contributors. What face heating issues outside of a cold climate? War takes place in a tropical climate. I thought GojiCenter said war takes place in a neutral climate, but then GojiCenter said it takes place in Isla Nublar. So I did not bother to give fur to anything, really. I did not bother to give fur. Pushes the limits of what a mammalian predator can actually do. Look at this. Panthera maximus. Tiger/Smilodon. Echidna/porcupine. Hippopotamus, short-tailed shrew, and bonobo. Definitely took notes from that hybrid. GojiCenter's hybrid. And probably my hybrid too, because I probably was the first hybrid I was probably the first one to make a hybrid with proper hippopotamus integration. That is in a video. Well, I'm probably not the first hybrid to actually make a hybrid with a hippopotamus as contributor, but I probably pioneered using hippopotamus. Says the hippos, incisors, and canines are quite devastating. Molochiaton sagiocephalus. Tyrannosaurus. Makes sense. They actually got away with Leviathan bowhead whale, huh? This actually kind of works with how its arms are positioned. Silverback gorilla, Belgian blue bull, sea pangolin. bit too bulky for its own good. 13 tons is a bit low. Genome and design warrant a mention. Okay, this is... I'll leave it alone. Antica Bestia Protoss. Shantungosaurus. Okay, this is the first Hadrosaur on the list. Very solid armor and powerful build. Could I even call it a Hadrosaur build? A few redundant and unnecessary additions could be lighter. Yeah, for example, Pachyrhinosaur, Axolotl over here. I don't think Axolotl is gonna help in the Dom 2.0 fight. And even Pachyrhinosaurus. Like, this armor is just way too much already. And if you shave a few tons, the Indom 2.0 would still have a hard time attacking this guy. Lancelot. This is, you know what GojiCenter said? There were so many hybrids that looked exactly like Ultima Imperatrix. This feels like one of them, as you can see here. Styracosaurus albertensis. There are 2 Paleoloxodon pneumaticus, which is a bit of a problem. The Ducurus clavicaudatus, which is fine. Decent genome and very nice design. Bison. A horse. Omdenosaurus. Europelta. African dwarf croc. Yeah, a lot of people took notes of GojiCenter's hybrids, myself included, but I didn't really. I also took notes from Samson, but then I just came up with my hybrid. That functions quite differently. Short legs would be better for stability. Yeah, this thing's legs are just disproportionately long. Panoplioceratops bellator. This is the hybrid that was rescued from the Hall of Shame, and as you can see here, it was actually put in the honorable mention. So good for GojiCenter, and good for this guy. Prehistoric animations 922. Triceratops, Diplodocus, crested porcupine, Thyrosaurus, and Raven. The Raven, as you can see here, 27.6 tons for Lancelot, which is too much actually. It should have been like 16 at max. Panoplioceratops bellator, 22 tons. It does feel a bit long here. This is this also looks like Ultima Imperatrix. Right? Panoplioceratops victoris, powerful ceratopsian build, which is this one. This plate over here is fine. Okay, so we have Triceratops horridus, which it was used as a process for its proportionately longer horns. Diplodocus carnegie, for its size, or its justifiable size. Iguanodon over here, domestic pigs, mola, blue-ringed octopus. I guess that guy had a similar idea to mine, right? Using having a thumb spike, and then trying to use venom resistance, trying to use sus for venom resistance. Kentrosaurus is fine. Pachycephalosaurus is fine. This is tetrodotoxin would take a while to take effect. Landing a venomous bite would be hard against a more agile attack. Yeah, for a ceratopsian, I just go for venom immunity, and that's it. And also potentially shorter horns, like using the one from Triceratops process, so that the Indominus 2.0 has a lesser chance of being able to manipulate those horns. Vanity Fair habitable built-in jaws. Genome is good. Water monitor, cuttlefish, Komodo dragon, Stegouros. A lot of people using Stegouros. Trachosuchus imperator. It's actually justifiable too. Dinosuchus brutalis. Great agility and a very interesting genome. Legorgon climovensis. Yeah, this is very... Allosaurus Gen 2! Should have just used a regular old Allosaurus. That would have been fine too, but like, Allosaurus Gen 2, that one's from Jurassic World Alive. Did they get away with it? I don't know, but this should probably be put aside. Short-tailed shrew is definitely taking notes. You can see here, short-tailed shrew is really the MVP of the Indominus 2.0, as well as Mortalodon, along with Empire Bat. Because short-tailed shrew, man, short-tailed shrew, even though it comes as a side effect of overall worse stamina, those iron venomous teeth are so strong in the end. It's just not even funny. Dino Ursus. Cool Bear. It's only in honorable mentions because it's creative and not many people submitted bears. Unfortunately, too small to be a serious threat to an adult 2.0. Claws might break. As you can see, here's Therizinosaurus. It's learning nothing from... Oh, great ape. It's not really deserving of the honorable mentions for me, honestly. Carnifex Rex. Used with few genomes in the mix that could result in mixed success. Would not fare too well in a grapple match. But it's a functional body type with good weapons. As you can see here, my backward thorax. Saurfaganax Maximus is now called Allosaurus Anax, but whatever. They definitely took notes from GojiCenter. As you can see here, they used Arapaima from Mortalodon, Short-tailed Shrew as well. Ingentia Prima from Ultimate Imperatrix, Vampire Bat as well. Stonefish. Stonefish? Many people actually got away with using Stonefish. I wonder why that's the case. Catabanax Mimica. Gimmick for shedding armor. Gimmick of shedding armor for better speed is unique. Adding speed might have been more successful had been fully bipedal. Yeah, this feels not extremely functional for me, given its arms. It kind of feels like D-Rex in a way, but whatever. This is a unique concept. Baryonyx as the base, and then Orangutan, Komodo Dragon, Gila Monster, Lambeosaurus. Briar Rose. By the way, this is 7 tons, which is appropriate. Build out to the Lambeosaurus, I guess. Unique attack of unique angle of attack. Try to maximize agility like weasels. It's a weasel. Red-toothed shrew. Is it like the short-tailed shrew? Noctowl bats. Honey badger. But then again, there's another hybrid called Gigathorn, which is in the Hall of Shame for mistakenly calling the short-tailed shrew a red-toothed shrew, from what I remember. So this doesn't really make sense. Agility only so far in this train. May require more strength or ability to survive the fight. Yes. Athena, it's a owl. Invented designed genome used being long-limbed flying species, flightless. 26.2, 26.2. Light build with very troublesome in close quarter combat. Yes. Because, yeah, this is definitely not equipped to fight the Down 2.0, but it's a creative genome, so I'll leave it alone. It's a creative design. As Darkid. It's a random as Darkid. What would that be? Judging by this thing, it could probably be like a Hatzegopteryx. Ankylodeus Maximus. This is a Lego hybrid, man. Spike's making it hard to attack from above. It's a Lego hybrid. It's a hybrid that's made of Legos, which is quite nice. 10 tons. Height 10 feet. Length 25 feet. 10 tons is fine. Ankylosaurus, Amargasaurus, Shinosaurus, Diplodocus. All of these are fine. Rationale for exclusion. Excessive length of spikes makes it difficult to move. Could be exploited to manipulate the creature during combat. Yeah, that is why I didn't really use Ceratopsians, because I was scared that the Indog 2.0 would just grab hold of the Ceratopsians' horns and then just pummel them to the ground, like just manipulating the creature like that. So that is why I didn't really bother. Use a Ceratopsian. Ankylosaurs and Stegosaurs, they just flip them over. Carmine Sui. It's Finnish, right? I kind of butchered that pronunciation. Well armed and armored, easily could overpower medium-sized dinosaurs. Not quite big enough to tangle with the 2.0, as you can see. 2.2 to 3 tons. Utah raptor, cave lion, bison, gorgonopsid, random gorgonopsid, pangolin, hippopotamus, Cuban crocodile, scalyfoot gastropod. Oh, they got away with scaly gastropod. I wonder why is that? Turquoise killifish. Is it because this creature is not too heavy? This is Astor. Actually make the long limb hybrid look functional. Huh. Yeah, this feels like D-Rex. Harpy eagle, Linotyranus, not optimal for grappling, did not need the Indoraptor Indominus genome. Yeah, it just adds a whole slew of animals, which is going to scramble this thing's instincts. 6 tons is appropriate though, given its lanky build. Fitness gram pacer test. Man. Somebody call creature fitness gram pacer test. Its scientific name is Viversaurus saltarigina. Okay. Gino makes it a very good combatant. Jumping would not be practical at that size. And with those limbs, it's not really practical. The reason why Indominus 2.0 can get away with this, though, is because it has air stacks and and pouncing, as well as the fast twitch muscles. Komodo dragon. There we go. A lot of people are using short-tailed shrew, by the way. A lot of people. Man, how many? I have a feeling that at least half of the top 16 has used some form of short-tailed shrew. Has incorporated short-tailed shrew. Goblin chimp. That's a goblin, alright? If there ever was one. Props for pushing the human look as far as it could go. Rationale for exclusion, too small to fight the 2.0 effectively. Okay. Molluscan hound. Yeah, this is... Then again, this is a creature that definitely... The creator definitely took notes from those genomes. From GojiCenter's hybrids. Honorable mention for sure, though. I'll leave it alone. Click! Cute little idiotic guy. Adorable, marketable, someone make this a plushie. Anrognethus, Simonsuchus, Sinosauropteryx, dog, lion, pangolin, raccoon, and cat. This is why it's in the honorable mentions, because even though it's not really meant to fight, it's just a plushie. And rationale for exclusion. Wasn't submitted as a fighter. Adopted by the staff to keep them safe in the judging booth. Cool. Raphael. Scutotherium ferrodentis. As you can see here, Ankylosaurus magnificus. 15 to 17 tons is kind of pushing it. But at the same time, as you can see here, that's a lot of fur, which is a little bit of a problem. You know, heat issues. It's probably going to die of heat stroke. Thalaccoleo conifex. Altophilus ferox. North American beaver. Is there anything that warrants this gigantic size? It's Ankylosaurus, right? I mean, 17 tons is really pushing. Gallimimus rex. Surprisingly, was better than many of the submissions in this competition. Perfect example of how simple is effective. I mean, when I first saw Gallimimus rex, I literally just, what? Because basically, Gallimimus rex is just, I mean, the creature did not even try to do anything crazy with it. The pronated wrists are kind of hurting my soul, but otherwise, this is, its proportions are not quite accurate, but otherwise, this is, bravo, fight, Neuropugnatorum, Serval cat, great design and genome, as you can see here, it's creative, Chacma baboon, because of the largest baboon, right? Dracorex, jaguar, Glossotherium. Great horseshoe bat. Stone praying mantis is a bit. Praying mantis is not very good. Could mess things up. Lacks agility. High center of gravity can be exploited. Yeah, this doesn't really seem fun. This is not optimal. Whiskey. Kill design invented picks for genome. Its fine style needs more agility. Too heavy to fight how intensity. 23 tons. It should just shed a bunch of tons. Kodiak bear. Common hippopotamus. Wait, a lot of people use hippopotamus. It has a devastating bite. Megatherium, black bill, pangolin, Didicarus, triceratops, Sauroposeidon. Amphilox hyperinvictus. Extremely powerful and very well armed. It's a sauropod. Apatosaurus lewisi. A lot of sauropods. We've got quite a few sauropods to increase the congruity of a sauropod. I mean, that's to be expected. Sauropelta. Unneeded genome additions. Other similar sauropods use a better genome. Like, for example, Sauropelta. Over here, Sauropelta. Minmi paravertebra. I mean, they want to increase the congruity of the creature, but at this point, I just stick with sauropods and armored dinosaurs, as well as dwarf croc. That's it. Tyrannosuchus ursus. 88 to 92 tons. I don't think there's anything that warrants 88 to 92 ton metric. Should have used an Argentinosaurus, man. Tyrannosuchus ursus. Powerful and simple build. Dinosuchus, grizzly bear, acrocanthosaurus, and the shrew. Some exploitable unarmored areas detected which are exploitable by a highly exterior animal. I mean, it's a simple genomes can be effective. For example, that Gallimimus rex over here, that chicken rex, Chickenosaurus, Jack Horner's wet dream, I suppose. And as you can see, 10 to 12 tons. T-Rex justifies it, more than justifies it. It's short, but the thing is, it's quite short, so it can be just flipped over by or just bite on a windpipe or something. Sultan Ceratops. Very good design and build. Triceratops, Torosaurus, Styracosaurus, Kunkasaurus, Leoningosaurus, Sauropod, Crocodile, Hippopotamus, Giant Forest Hog. Could be outflanked though. 14.5 tons is kind of pushing it. But yeah, there aren't any contributors that warrant 14.5 ton metric. Or actually, it's probably the armor. And even then, the length itself. Yeah, this is one of those cases where they actually got away with scaling up the hybrid. Because they added certain genomes that increased the length and increased the mass. Like I did, for example. Like, the reason why I got away with 17 meters on Montosaurus is because that I made the tail longer using the iguana. Bilby Bits. I think I know this guy. I don't know. Stu 2.0. Dylan Place. Good basis to start from. Okay. JP3 Spino. T-Rex / Sue. Carnotaurus. Pushing for optimal bipedal movement to have the required agility. 15 tons is too much. Tail weapons are not the best thing to mount on a biped. Yes. solid, reliable defenses and offenses with a balanced genome. Spiculomosaurus, Ingenstegosaurus. Okay, Ankylosaurus, black-headed python. Why, Ingenstegosaurus, though? Could have just used a Gendrosaurus like this. 6 to 7 tons. Hey, it would have been fine, too. My arm or neck, it could be injured, could be outsmarted. The specific build could have benefited from a bit more mass. 6 to 7 tons. Yeah, Ankylosaurus was quite massive. I think this creature could just get away with 10 tons, for example. Angelicosaurus Lustitia. Okay. Reliable weapons and sensory detection. Tyrannosaurus JP3 Velociraptor. That's an interesting genome. Harris's hawk. Longer arms would have helped with reach. Those arms, it could just knuckle. Could it knuckle walk? Primordiasaurus Rex. Great design and concept. Pretty decent genome. Dwarf forest croc, gorilla, anteater, honey badger, turkey vulture, Hoplophoneus, rock skin newt. Very similar to a 2.0. Because it's gorilla, right? By the way, the Indown 2.0 used chimpanzee. Yeah, its overall build is quite similar to the Indown 2.0. How it works is quite similar to the Indown 2.0. Max weight might hinder its combat speed. The Indown 2.0, I'm guessing, is around like 7 to 8 tons, even 8 to 9. Primordiasaurus Rex 10 to 14 is kind of pushing it. Especially when the maximum it could go is 35 feet in length and 18 feet in height. Maximus Paleolopsidon Justicus. Curiously familiar Proboscidean with a few unique aspects. Curiously familiar Proboscidean. By the way, I requested to GojiCenter on Instagram that I want to collaborate with GojiCenter in order to cook Samson together. Do you think it would be a good idea, honestly? I mean, it would be nice. Overly spiked body parts with attacks for being potential to hurt itself. Might award less spikes with different armor selection. Samson tried to use Glyptodon, which is fine. Niall, I've seen this hybrid. Intrepid Titan Philippinensis, using the Sorolophus as the base. 12 tons, by the way. Which is, I mean, for a hadrosaur, it's quite heavy. 13.5 feet in height. As you can see here. 4 feet. Great, good balance between speed and power. Great for speed, falls short on agility. Did GojiCenter say that being agile is one of the requirements to defeat the Indom? Yeah, especially for hadrosaur, right? One good blow to the head and its curtains. Megatherium, Kentrosaurus, Yoshisaurus for its light armor. I saw this hybrid using Yoshisaurus, and I thought, oh god, I should use Yoshisaurus too. But I used Skeletosaurus. Warthog is venom resistance. I think they're definitely inspired from my hybrid. Tusk. Moors at minute. Excellent power and defense. Hippopotamus Gorgoths, right? At Montosaurus Bison, Honey Badger, Pangolin, Egyptian Mongoose, T-Rex, Artisimus, Hero Shrew, Wildebeest. Bit too much mass. Fur can cause heating issues. Yeah, 18 tons. How was it? 18 feet? Quad. 2 feet in length. Here. Fur is kind of unnecessary. Fur is kind of unnecessary, actually. Artisimus. It's probably from the Arctodosimus, which just shave the fur and everything will be alright. Next beast. Great design and quilled defense. Smilodon, Mammoth, Polar Bear, Cordylus, Cataphractus, Moose, T-Rex, and Porcupine. As you can see here, 7 contributors. Mystical, 19 feet in height, 10.3 tons. For this build, it's kind of pushing it, but whatever. Some genome additions were excessive. Could run into heat issues and prolonged fights. Seems like it. But I'll leave this alone because it is quite a creative genome. It's probably the best feline to use base. Best hybrid to use a feline as a base. Effective weaponry build. Martinosaur Maximus. Crocodile Primate. What primate? There are a lot of primates. There is a chimpanzee, there's a gorilla, there are spider monkeys and baboons too. Komodo dragons do not have bacteria-rich saliva. Yeah. Just falling into that Jurassic Fight Club thing. Just Jurassic Fight Club concept of, oh, because T-Rex had serrated teeth, Komodo dragons had serrated teeth, the former's teeth would have held rotten flesh, which caused the victim to slowly die after it got bitten. It's not very practical. Mass size at 49 feet is pushing it. Dinosaur size turned by mass. Invictusaurus Rex. It's not a very creative name, but whatever. It's not a very creative name. It's kind of like the same level as the Hall of Shame ones. Solid design though, but look at this one. The difference between the Hall of Shame creatures and these creatures is these are actually well built. While the Hall of Shame, these Hall of Shame creatures, most of them use AI, and they are absolutely ridiculous. Venomous fangs will not be the most practical, as they might break with pressure. Trajan. Imperator Regum. Spinosaurus Egyptiacus has the base, it seems like. There we go. Hero Shoot, the resting part novel Dilophosaurus. It's inventive way of using it. As you can see here. Gigantopithecus blackie. Very original design and serious arms. Yeah, those arms grab an Ankylosaurus club tail and swing it around like a freaking hammer. All equal. Large ground finch. This is quite original. This is an original design. This is an original Gita too. 60 feet though, yeah, it's a bit much. 22 tons as well. Electrosaurus. Effective design and weapons. Cool design for a hadrosaur. Apatosaurus tail whip. The Apatosaurus, the tail whip could just break its own bones. That's the thing here. Using 2 hadrosaurs and 1 iguanodonte, that's fine. As you can see here. Chameleon could compromise with the cuttlefish's camouflage instincts. A bit more armor and brain was needed. Yeah, this feels like it's learned something from Hank, but then again it also learned nothing from Hank. But then again, they went the right way of using a hadrosaur. How many hadrosaurs there are now? There's 1. I've heard that GojiCenter said that there are a couple dozen hadrosaur genomes. 1, 2, 3 hadrosaurs now. And this is mixed. This is a mixed one. It feels too mixed. And that one is also a bit too mixed to be classified as a full-on hadrosaur. But it's good to see a lot of hadrosaurs getting recognition there. Grendel. Somehow he called Beowulf. Really cool mammal design. Not the most stable lower body. As you can see, Megatherium. I mean, this is a good design. So I'll actually leave it alone too. Short-tailed shrew. And again, learn quite a bit from Gigaspicadius, bighorn sheep. A lot of purposely using bighorn sheep to try and protect the ears from Needing Down 2.0. Skunk bait defense is a clever idea. Oh, how could they get away with skunk? Is it because of its anal glands, which don't really interfere with everything else? Skunk-based defense, it's just going to fart out skunk spray, which is going... The Indown 2.0 can attack from behind. Impressive. They got away with using skunk. Need more agility to use the tail and spray weapons best. Axolotl regen was seeming to close to nothing at this size, much less during combat. Yeah, Axolotl, just exclude the Axolotl at this point. Gigaspicadius. Greg. Gigantocheliceratorini. A lot of ceratopsians too. A solid defense. Alligator snapping turtle. Another similar size and agile creature would benefit as non-agile combatant would likely be outsmarted. 35 feet, 10 feet, 1 ton. But 1 ton. I think they've mistaken it with 10 tons. But if it's really 1 ton, then this should be thrown all of shame because it's ridiculously underscaled. However, the genome over here is actually quite decent. Triceratops horridus, loggerhead sea turtle, dwarf caiman, alligator snapping turtle, which they got away with it, Eversodontic demoniorum, 30 tons, just pushing the limits of Hadrosaur, too. There's another Hadrosaur. That's, 5 creatures that use Hadrosaurs, not counting the ones that use I'm counting the ones not using Hadrosaur as a base, but like have a significant contribution of their build just from Hadrosaurs. Shantungosaurus as the base would have benefited from more reach and using a sauropod over wheel DNA for congruity. But then again, this is gigantic and it could just crush any opponent that stands in its way. Look at this lateral view over here. Shantungosaurus, blue whale, Glyptodon, Megatherium, they definitely took inspiration from, they definitely were inspired from Samson over here. Warthogs, gastropods. I wonder how these hybrids could get away with using gastropod DNA. Using scaly-footed gastropod. Evangelosaurus armatus. Functional design with some good forelimbs and stable frame. Ankylosaurus, it has... the reason why I didn't use Ankylosaurus was because it would just weigh the club tail would just weigh my creature down. That is exactly why. Tail club is unneeded and could throw it off balance given the distance of the body and speed that it could be swung. Yeah, that's also another reason I did not bother to use Ankylosaurus. It was because if I try to swing my club tail with my Montosaurus build, by the way, the Indominus, it's just going to throw this creature off balance. And it would just not be a good time. Let's see this hatch right. Apellosaurus. I mean, Apellosaurus is a good base. It's compatible with armor. Practical body type of weapons, Indominophage, 72 tons. Dreadnoughtus as the base, Barosaurus, Mosasaurus, Ankylosaurus, Kentrosaurus, there's the Arapaima, the Komodo dragon, and a many open surface areas to exploit. Yeah, practical body type and weapons. I mean, sauropods are quite practical. Could benefit from shrinking it to become more reactive or more. Then again, sauropods are quite slow, so they will definitely take hits. Brutus. Acrocanthosaurus Draco. Solid build and reason for being the size it is. But I got away with it. Could benefit from more congruity to use its horns. Then again, there's not much you can do to make this head too heavy, and then it was weigh the creature down. Boreal Tungo actually made the weapons on the design functional, 12 to 15 meters long. Need to shave a few tons to be its best for balancing agility and strength. It could be around 18 tons, even 17 or 16. Hadrosaur, Stegotetrabelodon, Neurosaurus, Stegosaurus, Pachycephalosaurus. Borealis Cephalomontotunga Saurocephalus. I think that's Shantungosaurus. That's the base. 22 to 26 tons is kind of pushing it though. But they use Stegotetrabelodon, which the Stegotetrabelodon is quite nice, given that it has 4 tusks. Which I don't really see anyone using the Stegotetrabelodon. The Stegotetrabelodon has 4 tusks, which is whatchamacallit. I forgot. Oramuris. Okay, defensively one of the best designs seen so far. This feels like a Glyptotherium. Giant bison. Armadillo Glyptodon. At this point, if I were to just give it a more elongated tail, I would have used Glyptotherium instead of Glyptodon. Megatherium, Asian elephant, armadillo, stonefish, mongoose, Komodo dragon. People are getting away with using stonefish. Triceratops is a good base to start from too. But then again, Triceratops is decent, but then again, in down 2.0, just try and manipulate that. Fantastic design. Defenses would be hard to take damage from a predator. This is 13 tons, 40 feet. They got away with it. If I were to try and get away with it, I would honestly just use Glyptotherium instead. It would be a much safer decision. Atlas. Fantastic defenses, and would be hard to take damage from a lesser predator. And then see Arapaima, they definitely took notes from the from GojiCenter's hybrid. Armor could have been more flexible to help with fencing and other horn attacks. Taurosaurus. Frill, perhaps not the most solid in this case. Taurosaurus. Outright Kentrosaurus. 9 banded armadillo. Panther chameleon. Flying fox. It's a simple yet effective design. Ashanti. Tricarnosaurus maximus. A lot of people using Boreal Pelta too. Vampire Bat Bonobo as well. Managed to be well armed but not overly heavy. Trying to gore with horns as a biped is not the best idea. Yeah, no. If you're going to gore, an opponent, you should probably be a quadruped at this point. Arxosuchus, as you can see here. Didn't go overboard with weaponry. Sometimes biting is just fine. Gorosaurus redesign, Macrothorax, Kentrosaurus, Deinosuchus, Tyrannosaurus Rex, African Killfish, Allosaurus, and its honey badger. Okay? This is one of those cases where you just play it safe. Which is exactly what I did. Arxosuchus, 9 tons. They just play it safe. Spikes might get in the way when turning or fighting with that many on the spot. Yes, similar case with Danny, but this is not overboard. And Danny is just AI. AI's top. Simple and practical genome and mass. As you can see here, 9.5 tons, 18 feet, 55 feet in length. Which is kind of pushing it. Giganotosaurus, Postosuchus, green iguana. They could get away with it though, because of the elongated green iguana tail. But basically what I did here. Indian Grey Mongoose. Giant armored lizard. Aegis Dominans Invictus. Imperatrix's deadly cousin. 18 to 30 feet. As you can see here. Length 55 feet. 20 tons. It's just Ultima Imperatrix, but slightly different. Iguana, a lot of genome. A lot of contributors, guys. Iguanodon, T-Rex, Nazidoceratops, Gorilla, Megatherium, Allosaurus, and Gastonia, Syconia, Australamus, Argentinosaurus, Stegosaurus, Ortodosimus, Camelus, Bactrianus, Pan, Pallas, Bathros, this is just Bactrian camel, right? The Bonobo, Haliloxodon, Bothra, Asper, Corvus Corax, Falco, Peregrine Falcon. Yeah, what I would do here, honestly, I'm going to remove some genomes, like, for example, the Stegouros, because the Gastonia and Syconia are already a good combo. Actually, I probably just keep Stegouros, move Syconia at this point. Argentinosaurus, I'll keep it. Arctodus, I probably will not keep it. The Peregrine Falcon, I probably will not keep it either. Iguanodon, this can be kept. This can be kept. Argentinosaurus hoincolense. Gorilla, I've been trying to increase comfortability, but it's fine. But sometimes they can be a bit too much. Aegiceratops patronus, very heavily armed and armored. Look at this. There's really no way that Indomitable Hero could flank it. Sheer mass that build and flexible arm makes charging less effective. 19.5 tons, yeah. No contributors there, except for Paleoloxodon. But it could have been scaled down to around 14, 13, even 12 tons. Arapaima was definitely taken. They definitely took notes from GojiCenter. A lot of Ultima Imperatrix things too. A lot of creatures that look exactly like Ultima Imperatrix, which is to be expected. Height 10 feet, like 30 feet, 10 tons. Skunk Ambition's Genius. Could use a bit more mass to be more stable. Yeah, this one could perhaps be like 13 tons. This one, 13 tons too. But it was 10, so they tried. Borealopelta Skunk. Skunk is skunk they can get away with skunk. Now I learned that we can get away from skunk, and there's my hybrid! Look at this one. This is my hybrid, guys. I'm not joking. This one, rationale for exhibition. Good defensive build and jaws. I have 7 contributors at Monosaurus, Hippopotamus, Lyrtosaurus, Skeletosaurus, Green Iguana, Wildborn, Cuttlefish. The fact that I managed to get the top 10 in honorable mentions is just absolutely crazy, man. Placing my hybrid at position 26 out of 1,655, which is insane. This art was drawn by not Tyler the Gaming Shark, but someone else. I forgot what their name is. Rationale for exclusion. Wouldn't be very agile with that build. I kind of have to admit, it's probably not very agile. Forelimbs might be too short to shrug off a bite to the throat or windpipe. I probably should have made it a bit taller too. But whatever, this is a good hybrid. This is a perfect hybrid already, and I think there's really not much I can do to make it better. Should I make a Lucy 2.0? Probably. I don't know. Lyrtosaurus, Skeletosaurus. This is... Now, the reason why I chose Lyrtosaurus is because I want to make it more compatible with this creature's lifestyle. And the reason why I chose Skeletosaurus is because the Skeletosaurus' armor is light enough so that it doesn't really compromise with my Monosaurus mobility. I got away with using 17 meters or 55.7 feet because of Green Iguana. 21.6 tons, I just converted from 19.6 metric tons to 21.6 US tons because the submissions specifically said that you have to you have to use US tons to measure the hybrid submission. That's exactly what I did. I just converted the metric tons to US tons. Okay, and then there's Maddie. A lot of people were very happy to see Maddie on the list because this is a hybrid that is I mean, I thought it would be impractical, but it's unique enough, so GojiCenter decided to put in honorable mentions, which I can respect, and this actually kind of deserves it. As you can see here, the Peregrine Falcon is a good base. The Argentavis is scale is appropriate. Then there's a Bar-tailed Godwood, which is probably the MVP here. One of the MVPs of this hybrid, along with a short-tailed shrew and vampire bat, which could actually make it be able to defeat the Indom 2.0. This is the fact that my hybrid is right next to this hybrid, man. And we both made a video on it. I think this also has a video. And then, this definitely has a video. And I don't know what else has a video, honestly. But at this point, there's not many hybrids left in the honorable mentions. These hybrids are getting better and better. Chicken pot pie. Oh man, it's kind of embarrassing though. Hybrid named Chicken Pot Pie did better than my hybrid and that bird. Very unique ceratopsian build with good hardware. Pachyrhinosaurus with the boss. Thorny Devil, Giant Anteater, Megatherium, Allosaurus, Orangutan, and Grizzly Bear. 52 feet is a bit much for an animal as large contributor as T-Rex. Long as a contributor as well. 11.2 tons, they can get away with it, thanks to the addition of several genomes. Tail mass and size of spikes make swinging that weapon awkward and possibly thrown off balance. Yeah, this feels a bit much. And if the Indubitable was smart enough, she could just try and manipulate it again. Manipulate the creature again. The following hybrids were considered for top 16. So 7 more contributors, 7 more hybrids that are actually amazing. Floyd, Commodus Spinox Titanus. As you can see here, Speller's very solid design and functional body. Titanus. Ingentia Prima, Maleborn Orangutan, they definitely took notes from GojiCenter, but they actually created a very good hybrid using it. Would have benefited from less mass for better reactiveness. Similar was only very slightly better. Could have been like 16 colors. Mickey, Tyrannophaganax albidodo minivorus. Devastating bite. Yeah, T-Rex with a hippo combo is just extremely deadly. Possible heat dispersal ability. They definitely a lot of people using Megatherium because of Samson, obviously. A lot of people also using Glyptodon as well. In this case, this could actually benefit from having a bit more bumpy osteoderms. For example, like the Skeletosaurus that I used. Kronos. Athenatoboa Lustitia, best snake in the competition. Man, I didn't really expect any snakes to stand a chance here. It could strangle in 2.0, but will be super slow on land. Yeah, this is extremely unique. As you can see here, Titanoboa after the base. Prognathodon actually works quite well with Titanoboa because, you know, mosasaurs are quite similar. Mosasaurs are closely related to snakes, so they can get away with it. Soups. Adiphagos Shisumodon. Shisumodon. A good balance of size and strength. Original idea to make it fight protracted. Oh, man. Cockhorodontosaurus as the base, I assume? Some additions like Stek Rust would wind up being too useful in fight wouldn't favor a drawn-out approach. Because, you know, in Dom 2.0, it doesn't really show that much it doesn't show how it could resist to Venom. Dom 2.0 Venom. Anal Lizard. Anal Lizard is definitely from this is definitely a Mortalodon-inspired hybrid. The Strato Fortress. I remember seeing it in DeviantArt, like, is this practical? But then it's made into honorable mentions, and oh yeah, this is practical. As you can see here, Elasmotherium. Literally, the entire armor thing is just covering the whole body. This Strato Fortress, this wall is just absolutely deadly. Paraceratherium allows it to get away with 19 US tons. Styracosaurus, Glyptodon, African Buffalo, Horse, Thorny Devil, Horse, and Horse also allows this to get away with the extreme extra mass. Lethal. Hellosaurus Rex 2.0. JP Spinosaurus, JP Kendrosaurus, Bahatosaurus, Gigantopithecus, Bonobo, Komodo Dragon, Black Caiman, Black Rhino, Vampire Bat. Good weapons, superb reach with access. Sorry. Biped stands combined with a swing Thagomizer was a combination that could be a big liability. Yeah, I didn't really bother to add any tails for that reason. If I were to create a theropod to combat the Indominus 2.0, I would probably just try not to add that much to the tail, besides just a bunch of armor from, like, Yoshi swords or something. It's kind of pushing to but height, they actually got away with it. Number 1, Indomitus Venator Rex. No, Studio 5191. Very solid weaponry and design. However, 10 genomes. That nothing is original. T-Rex, Vampire Bat, Vonabo, Short-tailed Shrew, Megatherium, Whip-tailed Lizard, Alamosaurus, Boreal Pelta, Arapaima, and Molossan Hound. Just scrambling the best of Indominus 2.0, the Mortalodon Anthrophagus, as well as Samson and Ultima Imperatrix to make this genome. Which, while the creator took notes from hybrids, there are other similar hybrids, similar builds that had a more original genome. Yeah, this probably doesn't really deserve to be in the honorable mentions in my book, given its lack of originality. Huge weight range made judging a bit difficult. Rear stance could use better tripod support. It's 17th for some reason, but I mean, they used it well, so whatever. Final 16 to be revealed soon. Yeah, some hybrids, they actually got away with to be in the honorable mentions. Like one hybrid over here, this thing literally used a plant, which probably was not allowed. Probably was not allowed in the first place in this competition. This is a Sequoiadendron Giganteum, by the way. This should probably just be thrown in the Hall of Shame. I'm sorry, dude. But most hybrids, they actually have some sort of reason to be in the honorable mentions, either because they're well built, or just creative, or just this. Oh man, this is both well built and creative. No, I don't think many people. I haven't seen any people using rhinos as the base. I probably see another one. I saw another one, but that was not a very good hybrid. So that's pretty much all there is, though. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next